You are?
Now I put it. Roger.
Oh, Roger, yes. Nice to meet you.
Now
Okay.
Snap ahead.
Ruben,
Cut it short.
anything you want.
Okay, can I start?
Okay, Paul.
No, the wings. Good evening, ladies and gents. As previously said, I'm going to be showing my pattern, the Carp Kryptonite. There's no lying, I did try and design it specifically for carp, but like we know, fish surprise us. I went to go try this fly out one day at Cedar Lakes with my mates. Not only did I catch quite a few carp on it, nailed a couple of bass over the 2 kilogram range, blue kerper as well as barbel. Following day went to Hearties between myself and Daniel Naim Reese. Over 80 fish, 80 carp between the two of us. Then 2 weeks later went to the Vaal between myself and Jason, 45 carp over 6 kilos on this fly. Went on holiday to Knysna, not in the intention to fish, just to relax. Pulled out a Carp Kryptonite. 3 casts later, my first Garrick, about 1.5 kilos. Cast after that, another Garrick. In total, I caught 3 different species on this fly, just in salt water. I have caught mudfish on this pattern, I have caught smallmouth, and I have caught mudfish. Yeah, I did mention the mudfish, and mojo. Okay. I really like this fly. I'm not going to say it's the holy grail of carp fishing. There's plenty of patterns out there. I'm just saying this pattern for me has been fishing really well as an all-round fly. Not only for me, but a lot of guys have taken this fly out purely try and prove it that it doesn't work, and they came back saying that it works. So I'm really happy that I can share it with you, Oaks, and I hope you enjoy it. Sweet. So first and foremost, I'm going to use that 140 denier thread, tan or red preferably. What we're going to do is we're going to start by putting the thread on just behind the eye of the hook. SL45 bonefish hook, size 4. Okay.
Just hold it a little higher so I can see the hook itself. Hold it a bit up so I can see the hook. This is not a stinger shape. It's a nice hook.
Predominantly all your carp flies are tied on this hook, on your bonefish hooks, due to the size and the gape that it uses. It's a really, really nice hook. Okay? And you're going to stop about, let's say, you're going to be using bead chain eye. So the length of the bead chain, you're going to stop behind the eye of the hook. So you can place your bead chain there. The best color, I've tried different colors, black, silver, gold, purple, pink, green, you name it. Best color, still gold. Gold bead chain eyes, gold dumbbell eyes, has to be gold. Okay, not rule of thumb, but my honest opinion, gold works better. Okay, now for every wrap that you do in the figure of 8 to one side, do equally for the other side, so the eyes straighten out. Show you now. As you can see, done 4 wraps there, it's skew. Okay, now you do to the opposite side, start straightening out. Okay, so once you've done that, just keep an eye on it, tie it nice and firmly. Make sure the eyes stay on top of the hook shank and nice and straight. Thereafter, turn the fly, which is a lot easier, and go underneath the eyes, between the hook and the bead chain. Okay, nice and tight. What it actually does is it compresses that thread and pushes it up, almost like a post. Now holds it more firm on the hook shank. Once you're done with that, just start taking the thread to the back. Okay, now we're going to take one of the main triggers for carp fishing, the red marabou. Strung marabou, you can use it. I prefer the normal woolly bugger marabou. It's a lot more fluffy, not so stringy. To me it's a lot better, but hey, do with what you can, gents. Okay, you're going to take quite a substantial amount because you are going to lose a bit. I learned that firsthand after a couple of takes with the carp, that I started losing the marabou a lot quickly. Key is pinch wrap. You want it on top of the hook. You don't want it flopping all over the show. 2 pinch wraps, it's fine. Tie that down nicely. Now this is a fly that you don't need to tie very neatly until you get to the legs. Okay, and I'll explain that when I get there. Never cut marabou, pinch it off. Rule of thumb. Looks more natural once you pinch it off. Okay, once you got that, you're going to take a ginger color to a rusty color brush. You can make your dubbing brushes, you can buy the EP fibers, whatever you want, but it makes life a lot easier if it's a brush. Okay.
Wire inside.
Yes, it's got wire.
Use the back of your scissors.
Now I got a side cutter. Yeah. Okay, once that is placed there nice and firm, we're going to take the thread to where that point of the hook is. Okay, a little bit more. You're going to stop there. Preferably you turn the vise upside down. It's a lot easier to tie the legs in like that. I don't tie the legs in by pair. I tie them single. I've tried tying them double. I don't get the direction that I want them to go in. You want them to go in a triangle backwards towards the tail. It's 2 pairs of legs. A lot of guys say it imitates a shrimp, imitates a crab. I say it's a bit of both. Okay, since we don't have freshwater langoustines or crawdads like they have in the States, it's still in the genetic code of carp to feed on crustaceans such as langoustines and that. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take, it doesn't matter how long it is, but make it long enough that it sticks out nicely. Okay, tie that down. 2 wraps and then you can start putting pressure. Make sure it doesn't slip. You want it to be in line with where the eyes sit. Okay. Once that tied down nicely, hey, behave yourself. You can chop that off. Put 1 or 2 harder ones down. Next leg. Now, for still water, I prefer making the legs a bit shorter, but also depending on the body of water. Like Harties, you don't need to have very long legs, but other places like Bloemhof Dam, they love long legs. You'll be paid off if your flyer's got longer legs. They will love you for it. Trust me. It's like a typical guy who likes a lady with long legs. Sorry, ladies. Yeah, you can call it stockings, though. Okay. Take it about halfway between where those legs are and the bead chain. And you're going to start with your other pair of legs. Now, these front pair are going to be a lot shorter. Okay. So, you always can, if you put it too long, you can always snip it up afterwards, according to how you want it. But like I said, make sure it sits in line with the eyes.
So the idea is horizontal.
Yes. Keep it horizontal. And the body shape, there's not really any tapering required. So you don't need to have a thin section to fat or anything. This fly has to be buggy, ugly once it's finished. Okay, and then you're going to take the thread behind the bead eyes. Yes. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Then normally you can, if you guys are starting to tie these out, you can use a whip finishing tool. Just not a whip finishing tool, just a hack or plier, just to hold it over the eyes. But with the dubbing brush, it's easier because it's wire, doesn't come loose. If you're using normal dubbing, it becomes an issue. Just start wrapping the body down. The wire also gives it a bit of weight, like if you're using it on the Vaal. Okay, the Vaal, you need a heavier fly because of the flows. The still waters, not really. And you also want a softer, more quiet presentation on still waters. Okay, once you put the brushes down, you have to play with the legs so they go to where you want them to go. Clearly they're not working with me. Yeah. Last famous words, eh? Okay. When you get to behind the bead chain, tie that brush off. Come to daddy. Okay. Once you've tied that off, you're going to take one of the most crucial parts of this fly, and that's leech yarn. Been searching for a lot of these colors all over the show. Preferably you want a rust color. Burnt orange is good enough, but it also depends on what color body you're putting down. You can put on a black body, whatever you guys want. It's up to you. I have tried black kryptonites before. Not really a success, only with barbel. But yeah. Yeah. You guys have to be very cautious with this material because there's actually 3 strands in here. When you get the material, you'll see it. There's a very fine strand. If you don't tie that strand down, this leech yarn is going to come apart like it's no tomorrow. Even once you put it on your hook and you've whip finished and it looks beautiful, it will come apart. So you have to trap it down nicely. Okay. Okay, and then you tie that down behind the eyes. Okay, just there. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of that fibers sticking out. Brush it out towards the back of the fly, and keep in mind where you want them to face. You want them to face the back, okay, not towards the front. So when you're wrapping it, you can give it 2 or 3 wraps behind the bead chain. Don't worry if it traps the legs. We'll sort that out afterwards. Once you've done that, you can do one single figure of 8. You're going to go over the bead chain, through the front, back, and under. Take your thread underneath, 2 wraps or 3, as many as you guys want. Cut that material off with your index finger and your thumb. Pull all the fibers that are in front of the eye of the hook, pull them back, start tightening that down. Then you can just tie it off with the whip finishing tool, half edge, whatever you guys want. Okay, I'm doing this as purely just to demonstrate to you guys what this fly looks like. Now, like I said, to complete this fly, you can take scissors or needle, but watch where you cut. You're not going to probe it right into the fly, just on the surface. You'll see here, you're just picking some of those fibers out. Okay. And the fibers that are trapping the leg, just pull them gently. Start seeing that some more start popping out. Body starts coming out nicely. Okay. Then you pull that there. Snip it, not longer than the length of the fly. And that's the Carp Kryptonite there. Finished and done. Okay.
Just add a little bit of light to the body so it gets down and the fingers on quicker.
Okay, tailing fish are by far one of the best ways to catch carp. This fly works very well when you put those dumbbell eyes, gold dumbbell eyes for tailing fish. How you fish it is cast past it. You actually have to identify where the head is first. Okay. Now, how carp feed is they stick their head in the mud and they're not feeding per se. They're digging in the mud. Then they pull back. When you see that sudden tail stop, see the fish almost lean back a bit. That's when he's staring at the hole to see if anything's coming out of the holes where he's just dug. But what you do is you put your fly, when you see that fish pop its head out, just give it 2 little twitches, and normally they go down and grab it. You'll feel a thud. It's a very aggressive take. You know, people say that carps are trash fish. They hit really hard, especially when they're tailing. And you'll be rewarded even with a 2 kilogram carp on fly. It's really awesome. Cruising carp, lighter fly, bead chain, small bead chains. If you can get those plastic bead chains, if you can call it that, like for those curtains, gold as well. Works perfectly because you don't want the fly to sink straight away. A cruising carp, you want to present the fly about 1 meter in front of it, 1.5 meters. Pop it in front, make sure it meets up with the fly. Normally they just take it. But I was surprised when I went with Jason to Spot X. Took this fly out and I cast behind the carp. Wind took my fly line, pushed it behind. The carp turned around, saw my fly, and raced into it. Just smashed me. I didn't even get to strike. I just held, and the fish was running. And bearing in mind, that was a 7.5 kilogram carp that nailed me like that. Not the small ones, not the juveniles. We're talking about massive carp are smashing these flies hard. Barbel, easy to catch, but some of them were finicky towards certain flies. We did try woolly worms and all sorts of woolly buggers, all those imitations. We'd get one or two, but as soon as we stepped up onto the Kryptonite, it was nearly every cast we were getting hooked up, and that's about it. If there's other ways that you guys have seen carp feeding, I haven't seen them feed except for the surface. You wouldn't use this on the surface, it's not a dry fly. But that's the main reasons, well, the ways that carp feed. If they are schooling, try and find which is the one that's more aggressive. A couple of casts and you'll pick out which is the one that's more curious. And start picking on that one, and you'll start seeing the school starts imitating what he's doing, and then they'll crash into your fly eventually. Yeah, that's about it. Tie materials. Tippet. I have not used less than 12 pound for carp. I learned a very valuable lesson on the Vaal. 14, 16 pound, I got broken up like there's no tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not playing around with babies. I go out onto the Vaal and I look for the big boys to catch. Especially with long grass, you're catching them in long grass. You want to get that fish out as quickly as possible. You don't want to play around with it. When you're playing in still waters, you can use 12 pound. Also bearing in mind if there's a lot of obstructions in the dam where you're fishing, as well as how many fish there are. If there's like a Hartbeespoort dam, I was using 10 pound, 12 pound. It's very thin. Whereas Bloemhof dam, I was stepping up to 16 pound. Also, that bearing in mind, due to you seeing a 30 kilogram barbel swimming past, and you're like, okay, I want to give a shot at him. So you have to keep those aspects in mind. Leader about 9 foot, butt section about 2 foot, 20, 30 pound. Boil it, keep it nice and stretchy, and the rest you can put as fluorocarbon. I prefer using Berkeley Vanish, but then again, it's up to you guys. Right there. 9 weights. Use the 9 weights.
Last thing, guys.
Dedicated fishes.
We have videoed this. It's on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube and search for Carp Kryptonite, you'll get both the video of tying the fly and then some footage of Ruben and Jason catching carp at Spot X. Okay.
Needed fishing. My arms are broken. But yeah, that's about it.